Thank you for joining us today on Indie Author Chat, and I'm your host, Lisa Grace, author of the Angel series, and also joining us is Samantha Fury. She's the other host that does Indie Author Chat, and she's the author of the Street Justice series. So we're coming from two different backgrounds as far as I write for teens, more or less, and some adult history mysteries, and Samantha writes mysteries, and with a lot of romance with mystery, right? Correct?
Yes, yes. I like romance, and I like a little mystery and detective work in there with it.
Great. And today, what we're going to be covering is everybody's second favorite topic, formatting. So the writing is the easy part of being a self-published or indie author. It's the editing and the formatting that are the work of the real guts of writing. So we're going to get into formatting. And I know every now and then I go to the Writers Cafe on K-Boards quite a bit. And that's where I take my coffee break to chat with other authors who are going through what I'm going through on a daily basis. And there seems to be somebody every day who has a thread up where they are just tearing out their hair because the formatting is giving them an issue, because there's not just one type. First of all, when you are formatting for eBooks, you are really creating a straight data stream, because you don't know if somebody's going to be reading that ebook on an iPod, on their smartphone, on their e-reader, on their laptop, on their PC, and what other ever form there is going to be of ebooks. And some of them have their Kindle read it out loud to them while they're driving. So I mean, there's just so many different readers for ebooks out there. So you want to create a pure data stream. The way I like to do this is I actually use the old-fashioned Microsoft .wps. It's just their straight word processor. The only thing you can really do in there is some bolding, italics, and different fonts and font sizes. And I found to do it with the minimal amount of formatting in it, then when I get ready to upload it as an EPUB or a .mobi or a .epub with DRM, which is what the iBook store for Apple uses, it makes it very simple. I can just transfer my .wps into a .doc, and then I can go to the various sites. It would be Pubit or Nook Press for Barnes & Noble. And then it would be the Amazon store is called, what is it called, KDP?
Yeah, KDP.
KDP. And then I just use it so often I just forget. I just go in there. It's bookmarked, so I don't even remember the names of everything. And then you have to upload your books for the iBook store through either smashwords.com, draft to draft. Is it draft 2, the number 2 draft, which is a competitor now, Smashwords. Or you can do it directly at the iBook store if you have Apple products, like a Apple laptop or something. You can do it that way. And then Kobe, Sony, and Diesel, Smashwords will convert it through what they call their meat grinder and upload it for you. But no matter how you've loaded up your ebook, once you've formatted it, you're going to want to double check it in a variety of e-readers, page by page.
Yes.
One little thing can goof up your formatting. One, what you do the chevron and the forward slash and the I, and then the chevron going the other way to end your italics. If when it was uploading there was some little glitch and something paused on your computer and it didn't read that, the rest of your book will be all italics. So
yes,
you have to find out where it didn't put in that little mark and go in and add it by looking at your HTML coding. So it's very, right, Samantha, isn't it very important that you look at every single page of your formatting?
Yes, and like I said yesterday, I've kind of gotten lazy because I'm staying with the Amazon with my last 2 books, so I haven't really had to fight with the meat grinder lately because It's going with smash words to me was like the hardest part. The getting your formatting right for Amazon was pretty much easy. I don't do a lot of fancy stuff. I do have some hyperlinks for the TOC. I did a TOC on this last book, and I have hyperlinks and images in my last one, so they'll show up and say buy this book, and I have the links right on the book. So you can get kind of technical and look kind of brainy, although you may not be. But with this, it's pretty simple. You just need to remember a lot of the basics is spacing is not your friend. I know in the paperbacks we got all these spaces and we love all this blank page at the end of the, the end of the chapter, and then the next one starts on the next page. Well, you have a whole new brain set when you go to eBooks. You need to forget and remember spacing is your enemy, because you don't want somebody reading their iPod and be going, oh, and then they get a blank screen. They may just give up if it's early on in the book and just figure out that you didn't know what you were doing. So for starters, you always need to do what I call a soft, sending your book out. Don't really tell a whole lot of people. Get it out there on the eBooks, kind of look it over. Pay a couple of beta readers, give them a free book to kind of look it over for you. But because it's so many things. And one thing, too, is you'll get centered. If you want to center like one part, like she said, the next thing you know, your whole book is centered. So you definitely need to look and make sure that it looks right. I mean, you may think it looks right on when you upload it, but it may be a mess on the ebook.
Right. There are a couple of systems that people use, like Scrivener and Calibre, to change their book from one formatting to another. But there's a lot of headaches that can come into play when you do that. Again, I recommend just using a basic word processor, typing it up with no formatting on the page, nothing. Just your fonts, your bolding, italics, and that's it. And then, when you're done with that, loading it up as a .doc, because it's so much easier to go in and add formatting later, especially for a paperback, than it is to try and take it all out.
Yes. Yes, because then you end up having to do what they call the nuclear with the smash words, and you more or less just copy and paste the whole thing into a notepad, and that gets rid of everything, all your little tabs. And a lot of people learn too when they start formatting, they go, oh, well, I hit the tab button every time. Don't do that. That can like really mess everything up. You've got to learn how to use Microsoft Word if you're going to leave the formatting in. Yeah, like Lisa's saying, no, don't tab.
Yes, a great book. What I would do if I were you is I would order a copy of Jason Matthews' How to Make, Market, and Sell eBooks all for free. Jason Matthews' How to Make, Market, and Sell eBooks all for free. And I would get that book because some of your questions and some of your how to do it step by step are in there, and he's been doing this for a while. He knows what he's talking about. It's very easy. And then the other thing you should do before you begin to attempt formatting is go to Guido, Guido, Henkel, HENKEL.com/2010/12/ and then the next thing has dashes between each of the words. Take pride in your ebook formatting. So take dash pride dash in dash your dash ebook dash formatting / Go there. He has a 9-part series on formatting for ebooks. 9 parts, step by step, walks you through it. He's done hundreds of ebooks, and he actually, you can pay him if you don't want to mess with it. You can pay him, and he will format your ebook quickly. And there's 2 or 3 other really good formatters out there. We'll put their addresses up on the indieauthorchat.com website that we're putting together right now, so that you have trusted places that you can go that won't ream you for thousands of dollars. You'll pay like between $69 to $99 per format or something.
Yeah, and there may even be somebody out there that does it cheaper. I mean, a lot of people right now, unfortunately, work is cheap, and you can't hardly get anything. So a lot of people will do something, and sometimes you can even work stuff out with people. If you are good at making covers, you can make them a cover and they'll format your book. I mean, there's always more than one way to get something done. But formatting and all these things, whether it be making your own covers or formatting, you need to think of this as a business. And we'll have a show on that exactly sometime. But you need to, if formatting is killing you, don't spend a lot of time on it. Pay somebody to do it if you can. Don't waste your time if it's going to give you a real headache and it's going to take valuable writing time away from you.
Yeah, but, I do recommend that you try it at least on one book. I recommend that you do. I do pay for covers because I'm not going to. The learning her for Photoshop, forget it, or any of those photo. And I'm not an artist. I have a vision of what I want, and it's just so much easier to tell people what I want and then let them, the truly artistic types, come up with that. But for formatting, I do recommend that you do it because you're going to need to know basic formatting anyway for your website. Every author should know some HTML coding. They should know a little bit about the difference between a Mobi and an EPUB. Just because there are things that you're going to have to look for it's just a good skill set to have. So I recommend that you read at least Guido Henkel's 9-part series on that and get Jason's book. And then, if you, like you said, if you can't do it, just hire somebody, especially when it comes to the paperback. It's a lot more involved than the ebook. And let's talk about that next. Paperback book formatting. Samantha, what do you do?
Now, to me, the paperback formatting is easier than the ebooks. To me, it just comes natural. But I set up, and I'll put my link in the bottom or on the website one, because I'll tell you how to make your Microsoft Word document look exactly like a 6x9 paperback instantly. I mean, it's that way all the time. If you save it in your settings, every time you go in and start a story, it's already set up for the 6x9, the gutter and the margin and all that stuff. And that way, you know exactly what page you're on. When I start my book, I'll usually cut out like 10 pages at the beginning, and I do it all in one big long document. I don't do like a chapter. I do it because I want to know, like, when I'm halfway through the book, what page am I on? Because I'm a nitpicker, and I always want chapters to start on the right side. So I need to know all this information at the beginning. So it's easier. But like I said, I like to have it set up for 6x9, and I like to have some of the fancy Danelia fonts, you know, for the chapter headings and for like the acknowledgments and things like that. I do some kind of fancy stuff. And there's no images, of course, in paperback, but you can, you know, go to, like, if you don't like the fancy fonts that's in there, you can embed them into Microsoft Word, and that's another show altogether, because that's a touchy topic, because sometimes it's not easy to do. But a lot of this stuff, like Lisa said, you will want to try it yourself, because you may be able to do it. You may be a whiz at it.
Now, what I do for paperback formatting is different. I write my books as ebooks first. Then I can get them out as ebooks. I can enroll them in the Kindle Select program, which gets them free lending through the library. You can give them away for 5 days free. I always do that with the first in every series. And then if there's any glaring editing mistakes, I'm going to find out during that phase. There are always things, my Word program doesn't always save changes that I've made. I've had to actually go in and resave. I don't know what's going on there. And an earlier novel on one of my books actually went out an earlier draft instead of the intended fully corrected draft. So I had to go in and correct that, and even then some of the changes didn't take. So it's like, but I always release things as an ebook first. Then when I get ready to make a CreateSpace, I go to createspace.com to do my paperback formatting, and they have templates. Don't they have templates? I know they have a template for the 6x9 because that's what I downloaded.
Yeah.
And then I put my doc into that template, and it worked out beautifully. I did pick out a fancy font for the C for the word chapter on each one. I did want my chapters always midway, halfway through, so you're going to have to do that spacing there. And again, you're going to have to flip through page by page because you don't want widows or orphans, which is when you have just a single word or 2 or 3 little words at the top of the page or at the bottom. You want to make sure you don't have that in there. So you're going to have to go in and adjust that once you have all your editing done, because your editing can mess all that up again and make some more an orphan.
Yes.
So there are things that you're, and then your gutter, you have to be aware of what a gutter is. And so I recommend just using the CreateSpace template and putting your document into that, and then always order proof copies, wait for them to come. For instance, I picked out a font that I really like that's very popular on the internet for my book, because I know I'm going to have, for my historical mystery, because I know I'm going to have older readers. They tend to like historical mysteries more than younger people. And I knew that being easy to read on the eyes was very important for them. Well, the font that I ordered it in the normal, what is it, 11 or 12 point?
12 point, yeah.
Well, in this particular font, a 12 point looks like a 16 point. So And it only had about 25 lines per page, and it looks like you're reading a large print book. So I had to go back and downsize it to an 8-point font to make it look like a 12-point font and to get the typical between the 30 and 33 lines on a page that you want. So that's what I had to do. So you always want to order proof copies because if you okay it, then you have to pay a $40 fee to change it in the future, and you don't want to do that. So always order proof copies. I always order a couple because I want somebody else looking at it besides me while I'm looking at it to see if they catch any mistakes either. Sam, what are some of the mistakes you've run into with paperback formatting?
Well, I've never noticed that there's a fee. Maybe I have a different account or something because I've been with CreateSpace since 2009, but trust me, I have uploaded many versions because I'll like change one word. So where was the $40 fee at? Was that with CreateSpace that you noticed the fee?
That's what I thought. I thought they charged a $40 to change the guts of the book.
No. It's you can upload it. You can upload it as many times as necessary. That's my experience anyway. But like I said, I like to use. I have mine set up as I start along. But I'm just kind of a plain Jane girl. I use the New Times Roman font because I just like it. But everybody's different. I always do my paperbacks first because I have people in my neighborhood that are screaming already for book 4. So I have to deal with my local public first. So I always do the paperback first so I can get it out. And that's how I do my beta readers. I send it out to my neighbors and they all buy it and they call and tell me, oh, I found a boo-boo on page whatever. But and like I said, I like to know where I'm at as I'm going through. So you can either, do like Lisa and do the whole thing and then download one of the templates and pop your book into it. Or if you're like me and you like to see how things are going as you go, you can set up your actual Microsoft Word to look like a paperback book. And then when you put it on 2 pages on your Microsoft Word screen, it will look exactly like it's going to look like in your book. I mean, if it ends with the word "and" on this page, on page 2, it will end that way in the paperback. So, and I like to know exactly where I'm at. But there's all kinds of problems. But like I say, me personally, the paperback is twice as easy to set up as an ebook. I could set up 10 paperbacks in a day, but ebooks, no, they start making me pull my hair out.
Well, there you go. See, and isn't that funny? I think the ebooks are much easier than the paperbacks. So it just shows you that no 2 authors are alike, no 2 ways of dealing with how to put out a book are alike, and there's different ways to approach the process. So you'll find out what's more comfortable for you through trial and error, and if you have the money, you can always just throw your hands up in the air and hire somebody like Guido to do formatting for you. But even then, you still want to go through a page when you've gotten that complete book up. You want to go through page by page before you hit that button to put it up for sale to make sure that you've caught everything and they've caught everything. So thank you for joining us today on formatting, and have fun. We'll see you next time on Indie Author Chat.